From the Welcome screen, click the Create a Document button. This creates a brand new document for you. You can then rename the document by clicking on the drop-down menu. Please note on iOS 15, this will be a cog icon, seen here. The app is separated into 4 main sections: story cards, characters, locations, and the editor. At the moment all these sections are empty. We will fix that shortly. There is also the drop-down menu. This has quick access to your export options and the settings view as well. Story cards are virtual index cards. Click the plus button to create a new one, then type a scene location and a scene description. Finally, click the add button to add your card to the stack. Use the insertion line to control where new cards appear in the list. Simply drag it to a new location and then create a card as usual, adding a scene location, a scene description, and then hitting the add button to complete the new card. Now let's look at some extra options you have in the story cards view. By default, the cards have a natural shape. If you tap the expansion button, the cards will resize to the size of the text within them. You can also tap the ellipsis button to bring up 3 buttons: a delete button, a view button, which lets you view the card without editing it, and an edit button that lets you view the card and edit the card at the same time. If we now turn to the characters view, we can see something interesting. It is no longer empty. It now has an entry for Alex and Eddie. This is also true for the locations view. It now has 3 entries: Eddie's house, Hyde Park, and London. If we tap on one of these entries and then tap Pin to edit, we can add some more information, like a description. All of these characters and locations were found using powerful machine learning. Because of that, we can tap the eye icon to show where this character appeared in the text. This is also true for the found locations. If we tap the Done button, we can navigate to the locations view, and then tap on one of these entries, tap the Pin to edit button, and write a description. You can of course always add a character or location manually. To do this, simply tap the plus button and you can then write the character's name and description. To delete a character or location, tap on the character or location's name and then tap the trash can icon. Now let's have a look at the editor functionality. To create a new chapter, tap the plus button. This will bring up the minimalist editor view. The story cards editor uses the Markdown syntax for things like titles, subtitles, bolds, and italics. If you ever want to see a fully rendered version of your text, all you have to do is tap on the book icon. Tapping the icon again will return you to the editor mode. The editor menu contains a number of useful options. Firstly, you can rename your chapter. You do this by tapping on the new chapter text and then typing whatever you wish. We also have text size options. You can make the text larger, smaller, or the default size. We also have some export options. You can export as a PDF, Markdown, or print. Finally, you have the option to delete a chapter as well. Tapping the eye icon will bring up the info view. This shows a real-time word count for the current chapter. The powerful machine learning technologies also apply to the editor view. So here you can see that we've written about Kelly and Mary, and then if we exit the editor and return to the characters view, we can see that they have now appeared in the Found in Your Project section. Like all found characters or locations, we can pin one of our found items, and then we can also use the eye icon to view where that character or location appeared within the text. Story Cards comes with a comprehensive search feature. Tapping the magnifying glass will bring up the search field, where you can then search for a character's name, for example, and then use the arrow keys to find all references to that character within the cards. Tap anywhere to dismiss the search field. If we now turn to the characters view, we can see that search here acts like a filter. If we search for Alice, it will hide all the other characters except for Alice. Search works the same way for locations, so here we can search for Pool of Tears and it will filter out all the other entries for locations. Finally, we have the editor, where we have full find and replace. The story cards, characters, locations and editor view all support drag and drop to reorder. Simply press down and then drag to reorder your list of items. You can even use drag and drop to pin an item. Simply drag from the Found in Project section into the Pin section and release. The story cards, characters, locations and editor view all have comprehensive support for context menus. Simply long press to see the options that are available. Within the characters and locations view, you can use the context menu to hide an item so it no longer appears in your list. From within the editor view, you can tap the book icon to go into reader mode. Reader mode is a great way to sit back and read your entire story. The reader menu has options for text size, export and print. You can also see the word, chapter and pages count as well. You can use the chapters view to easily and quickly jump between the various chapters within your story. And finally, of course, the reader view supports search. Story cards settings can be found by tapping the drop-down button and then tapping on settings. From here, you can rename your project. Simply tap on the name and then type out a new name. Tapping the theme button lets you choose between automatic, light mode or dark mode. You can personalize the appearance of story cards by tapping on the accent color button. You can then also make sure the icon matches by tapping on the icon button. Enabling focus mode will automatically hide the navigation bar, making for an even more distraction-free writing environment. Finally, we have export options that allow you to export your entire project. We also have a way to restore purchases, get help, and restore hidden characters or locations.